This video we're going to set up the engine timing to install the magnetos using the AccuMaster propeller, digital propeller thing, and for the use of this you'll need the assistance of a stop pin, the piston stop pin. But essentially you'll cup this to the blade, and then we're going to use a stop pin to set up top dead center. Using this we'll do a couple calculations, and then we get the digital accuracy of this. This particular installation, you could use the timing mark on the starter. You could also use timing marks on the back side of the ring gear and the case halves, but the digital method's considerably more accurate, so we're going to use this method instead. So first thing we got to do is install our stop pin. And to do this, first go to number 1 cylinder, and then we want to find compression stroke. So with all the plugs removed, you should be able to easily turn the engine over. Thumb on the hull. When you feel pressure on your thumb, that's telling you're on the compression stroke. As long as you're on there, you may have to crank the blades around enough to find that. But find the compression stroke. You don't necessarily have to find top center, but just get it on the stroke. Install your timing pin all the way down. You'll find that if the piston isn't far enough down in the hole, you won't be able to get the timing pin all the way down. Run that all the way down. Okay, that's our baseline for our timing mark. So stop pin is in, we're on compression stroke. Next thing we do is we got to set up the digital gauge. So once you have the pin in, turn your inclinometer on, and then turn the blade in the direction of rotation till it pushes against the pin. You won't go slow, you don't want to ram that pin through the piston. So we'll get it, stops there. Zero the inclinometer. Now we're going to go backwards. So turn the prop backwards, slow. We don't want to damage that piston. So just keep turning it slow till it stops. When you go backward backwards, it stops. Take it with a little bit of pressure on that. Take your number. Write that down. We're going to use that in a minute. 89.7. Now zero it out. Now we're going to, once we zero that, we're going to turn the propeller back in the direction of rotation till it hits the pin again. Remember, go slow. We don't want to bash the propeller or the piston. And then we get a new number. This is upside down, but it's 89.7. So that just happens to be the same number we got originally. For a tolerance, it should be within plus or minus 0.2. So that's the same number, so 89.7, so that's good. Then we're going to take this number. If it was different, as long as we're within 0.2, we take the last number, then we're going to divide by 2. So 89.7 divided by 2, gives you 44.85. So we're going to take this number, 44.85. This thing only goes to 10, so we'll do 40 or 44.8. Come over here, take the pin out. Back the piston off. Now we're going to take the pin out. Remove the pin. Maybe. Take the pin out. Now we have unrestricted whirling access to the propeller. So now that the pin's out, we're going to use this number back, that first or second number we took, we divided 44.85, and we're going to go in the direction of rotation until this reads 44.8. And at 44.8, that means we're at top center. So 47, too far. 44.8. Now that's top, should be top center. You can get a ballpark with that if you look at the timing marks, like that says TC, that should line up with the case half. You can see it with your eyes, but the digital is considerably more accurate. So that's our top center mark. So now when we set all our timing, top center is this number. So then we're going to zero it again. So 0 is top center. So now we can move our propeller to our timing degrees that we want. So our magneto, can't see it on this one, but we're going to set the spark advance of this to 25 degrees. And then when we set up the electronic ignition, we're going to set that based on top center. So we're going to just do the regular mag right now. So 0, we're going to pull the propeller back in rotation. And we're going to bring this up to the 25 mark. 25 degrees advance is where we will install the magneto in E-gap. Just go gently. Bump it just a little bit at a time. If you don't like it, just pull it back and try bumping it again. So we got a little bit of breeze and it might flutter just a little bit. So that's 25. So at this point, we're going to install our our magnetos. If we had 2 magnetos, we would install them at the same degrees. So this propeller is in a fixed position. Now we don't want to touch this, because if we move this, we're going to change the timing internally, or for the engine, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to leave this here. I'm going to hit hold. Now this thing has an auto shut off, so if you don't do this process fairly quickly, it'll turn off, and then it doesn't seem to remember its thing. So we're going to hit hold. But at this point, we're not going to move the propeller. It's set in its spark advance degrees of 25 degrees before top dead center. That's when we're going to install our magnetos. That'll be the next step. So install your magnetos at this point.